happy holidays. Whenever you're watching this, whenever you're seeing this, I hope you're having a great time. I hope you're resting, okay? Resting up for the new year. And I know that like with the new year comes so many different emotions, anxiety, fear, excitement. Like there's so many different things that your body is like going through because it's just new, you know? It's just like new. And we've also equated like a new year with new goals and new ambitions and this and that. And it's kind of like the reset of our life essentially, which it's really not. It's just essentially it's just another week, you know, but we like really put this pressure on it. So if you're feeling that and you're feeling like, oh my goodness, like I'm stressed, there's so much happening, like there's so much that I want to do, let's just take a breath. Let's just take a breath because you got it. And also if you're feeling like you look past and you reminisce on the past year and you're like, I did nothing this year, you're lying. You're absolutely lying to yourself. You're diminishing all of your accomplishments, all of the things that you worked through. Like, okay, fine. Talk about like, I didn't accomplish anything, fine. But you did work through a lot, right? And you got to the other side and you're still here. So it counts for something, for a lot, actually. And on top of that, like, there are so many accomplishments that you're also diminishing. And I think that with the new year, like this pressure and these feelings and emotions and all of these things kind of like creates this part in us where we question ourselves and we're like, what did we do this year? If that's you, look back on your year, just like scroll through whether it's photos, anywhere you keep your accomplishments, and just like look at them. Be like, oh, whoa, I really did that. Like for me, I was like, what did I do this year? And I was like, no. You actually did so much this year. So the fact that you're even saying like, did I do anything this year is so silly. So if that's you, for the next year, start a little section in your notes. I like to pin one note to the top of my like notes app, and I just add my goals and things that I'm working on. I add my why, my purpose, so that I just always have it accessible and I go through it all the time. So if that's you, that's a little tip and a little advice that I'll give to you guys. I was also reminiscing in the shower just now, and I wasn't even gonna film, but I was like, I have something to say, and I'm gonna gather it up and I'm gonna deliver it. And whoever is here to listen, I hope you enjoy, and I hope it, you know, like I always say, I hope if this is meant to find you, that it finds you. Let's get right into it. Basically, I realized in the shower, like I was laid off during the holidays. Let's get into it. You're like, oh, that's not good. But that was the reality. And I don't think it really like hit me because basically 2 years ago, I was laid off from my first job out of college, post-grad. And it was during the holidays. It was around November time, and I had an inkling, I had a feeling. I usually have this like knowing in my body that's like something's just gonna happen. So I was like, oh, it doesn't feel too good. And I went to the meeting and that's what happened. And it was around this time, like it was November. So a part of me, like literally my reaction on the phone, I remember it was Zoom, and I was just like, okay, great. Actually, that's actually great. And I never really expressed what the thoughts were going on in that time, because my genuine response to getting laid off was like, thank God. Like, oh my goodness, a real one. Like, he's a real one. He really, at the time that I needed it to, he came in and just like cleared the slate. And I had really loved the position that I was in. I really loved what I was doing at my job. But at the same time, like I knew that there was a calling for me that was more than where I was and how I was showing up on a day-to-day. And 2 years later, I mean, two, right? It's been two. I've been completely self-funding my own business. I created a business that is now a six-figure business, which I think is like, for me to look back and think about that moment of being laid off and just being so excited for what's to come. One, really was a test, one of my faith, but also just like shows me that even when you feel like there are times that are not working out in your favor, even when you feel like the thing that is in front of you, like for material value, like surface level, what it looks like is terrible, whatever's to come, you can make it 10 times better. And from that moment of being laid off is when I essentially started my business, and I filed the LLC a couple of months later, and here I am. I've been working for myself ever since that day that I was laid off. I created a business that now runs, and I've had employees, and I've had different systems, and I've had different clients, and I've experienced so many different things, and I've traveled to so many different places because of that one domino. And a lot of the time it is a domino effect, and that's essentially why my business is called the RAENA effect. If you don't know, now you know. So my business is called the RAENA effect because I want to have an effect on the people that I'm working with, whether it's my clients or the brands or etc. And that effect then continues to spiral to whoever they may impact or meet down the line. But that moment had such an effect on me and my trajectory and my business and my career that I can now look back on it, even though in that moment I was like, woo, like great. And I'll also tell you, like, during that moment, it was Black Friday and all the holiday sales going to the new year. They were doing like a new launch. They were doing all these different campaigns. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like I am working. Okay, like I am working late. Like this is a lot. And it was a lot. And I felt like at that time, I was so stressed. I had no energy for myself, for my friends, for my family. It was just a period where I was just like, and like also people were looking at me because I was doing social media, like I was a social media manager, like, why are you acting this way? Like your job is easy. So it was somewhat hard for me to sit there and be like, oh my God, like this is the worst thing ever, when it's like, aren't you just like making a social post? But that was not the half of what I was doing. And additionally, there was so much unknown, like working on these campaigns and working with so many different people that had so many different opinions, which was a great skill to have. But in that moment, it was just like, oof, this is tough. This is rough. And then I got laid off, and I was like, it was the biggest weight off my shoulders because I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And I'm just like so grateful. And I can worry about me, my friends, my family, where I'm gonna go next. And there was obviously like the unknown and uncertainty, but I just knew it was gonna work out. Like I just had this feeling of like, I know this is what I was meant to do. Like I know I've gotten to the like end of my leash or whatever, and like I'm finally ready to take the step. And I don't know if I was ever going to quit. I had just gotten a $20,000 raise, by the way, in that job, in that position, and I didn't have any reason to like leave, and I wasn't gonna leave, but I knew it was like the perfect opportunity for me to just like keep working. And the team was small. I really liked what I was doing. Like I said, it was just like a lot at once. And when it finally happened, I was just like, you know what, thank you. Like, thank you, God, because I wasn't gonna take the jump. I wasn't gonna take the leap. And sometimes like there are external circumstances that happen to cause us to take leaps. Sometimes we feel as though it's like the worst thing that could happen in our entire lives, like losing a job or losing a friend or having a breakup. All of these things were like, oh, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen to me, and now I'm going to be depressed in my room, which is like, all your emotions are valid, right? It's like, it's allowed to be sad for these situations. Like they're very sad situations, but you're also allowed to determine like how those situations make you feel. And you're also allowed to decide how you're going to move forward in those situations. And so when I got laid off, I literally was like, this is the best situation that ever happened in my entire life. Perfect timing, perfect. Like I couldn't rewrite the stars better. I'm like naming song after song after song. Okay, maybe I should be a songwriter. And that's all to say, sometimes it's not about the thing that's happening. Sometimes it's just about the perspective that we have on it, right? Like to anyone else, to my parents, they were like, oh my gosh, oh goodness gracious, what are you gonna do? And I was like, nothing, like we're good, we're chilling. And to other people, they were like, I'm so sorry, right? About losing your job during the holidays. Like that is not a good present to have. And yeah, but for me, it was like the best present that I could have received. And it's so silly looking back on it, because 2 years later, during the holiday season, I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, I just sent emails to all of our brand partners that we worked with this year for the influencers that I manage. And if you didn't know, I'm an influencer manager. And even just hearing them back being like, oh my gosh, like it was a pleasure working with you. We're so excited to do 2025. Like we're excited to move forward. All of these things. It was like, I've built this thing that I really enjoy. And I get to work with people that I really enjoy working with. And they enjoy working with me. And I get to make my schedule, and I get to work with amazing clients, and I get to do social media that I love, and I get to travel and like meet amazing, there's so much that I get to do. Like I get to do all these things because of this one thing that happened to me in 2022. And as we move into 2025, I'm always just like looking for the next like tragedy. It sounds kind of crazy, but a lot of the times when I feel like, oh my goodness, so much bad is happening in my life, I'm like, wait, this is kind of good. Like this is iconic, because it's like I know something amazing is about to happen. Like I just know that it doesn't just like get bad to get bad. Like that'd be a really boring story. Like, that'd be a really boring plot, right? It'd be like, oh my goodness, like all of these bad things happened to me, and now everything is just, and I give up. No, like laid off during the holidays. Okay, fine, I'm gonna pour into myself, starts a business, see success from the business, starts making more than she was making from her actual job, is now like work, like, you know, and like you can decide that that's your story. I'm gonna tell you what my brain is doing right now, and we're gonna work through it together. Currently my brain's like, this story is all over the place. I don't think anyone's following. That's okay if you're confused. But it's telling me to just start over, and it does it all the time. And if you watch my videos, you see that this happens a lot. My brain's like, you need to stop. And this, like me coming on here and talking through certain situations that I think of, or like giving little tidbits and doing it in this way, is to really allow myself, like to prove to myself that if I post this, nothing, like the world does not explode. Like, you know, everything is okay. And I struggle with perfectionism so much that it like impacts all of the things that I do creatively, because this is just a creative outlet. Like that's what YouTube is. It was, I mean, obviously you can express yourself in so many different ways, but these platforms were really made for creatives to decide how they want to show up and the things that they want to do and what they want to post. And it's no, like there's no structure in my brain. And I think a lot of people that I've like read in the comments is like, this is like the self, like these are the thoughts, the intrusive thoughts that go through our heads when we're doing these things. And the reason that I decide to post them is because I want to always show that this is normal. And no matter how much or how far you go in your career, like the thoughts will be there, they just get quieter. Or they just change the things that they're like conscious about or like insecure about. And so I try to express those things to you guys, because I think that it also helps me to say like, it's not that big of a deal. Like you don't have to stop recording because you feel like people don't care, or people are gonna hate what you're saying, or like they're gonna be like, you're so confused, I don't understand, like why did you even put the camera on, like what's the point? I'm like, okay, that's okay. There are a billion other videos on this platform to watch, and that's okay, you know? It's just getting that out of the way. But back to my little conversation about being laid off. I think as we move into 2025, something that I want to challenge both of us to do is just like turn every negative or what could be seen as a negative situation into a positive. Like you can only, if something happens that feels like, oh, that's not it, I just lost my job, that's not it. It's like, how can we turn that into a positive? How can we use that to your advantage? I think that has been the one thing that's like gotten me through every possible like heartache. That's a little dramatic, but not at the same time. It's like, I know I've had multiple conversations with people who just like lost their jobs and just like this, like, I don't know what to do with myself, right? And that's so fair. Like it is a very emotional situation, to lose your job, or to lose something, to lose someone. And I think that like this year has shown me, or like I've experienced this year alone, have experienced a lot about loss and just like losing. And I think that the only thing that we can do is find the positive in it. Like just find the light in it. Just find the thing that allows you to be comforted and supported and move forward. That's the biggest thing for me, is when it feels like you've been knocked down, how do you get back up? You know, like how do you get back up? Not even like when do you get back up, but like how do you get back up? Do you get back up willing to like try again? Do you decide like that's not going to change or impact the way that I move forward? Do you decide that you're even more determined to do the things, to accomplish all the things of the goals that you've had? I think that that's the most important part of life in general, is to decide like how you're going to get back up. And when I got laid off, I literally decided that I hadn't fallen. Like, I decided that I had like risen, you know? And that's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like I decided that it wasn't anything that either affected me or was a problem. I felt as it was a gift, like it was a gift and it was a present. And so getting laid off during the holidays felt like that was my gift to myself. That was God's gift to me. And it was now like, what do I do with it? You know, like how do I move forward in it? And the fact, like I said, that I could sit here 2 years later, holiday season, and look back on that and just be really proud of myself, of what I've created, the business, the things that I've gone through, the things that I've had to figure out, the people that I've worked with. It's just a testament to like, you decide. Like you decide the result of things. You decide how those things make you feel. You decide what impact it's going to have on you, and don't let other people tell you what it means for your future, for your career, for your goals. Don't let other people tell you what they think or their opinion means on something that happened to you. See what I'm saying? Okay, so honestly, this one was a doozy for me, because I feel like I had some good points, but I don't know if I delivered it correctly or right. And there really is no correct way to deliver, right? Because it's like, this is my thing. This is me talking. I do think that my thoughts were all over the place, and I cannot remember if I took my ADHD medication this morning. So that could be a direct correlation to the jumbleness that's happening. But also it's like, hey, it is what it is. I like the color of my sweater. I definitely couldn't have taken that. That's crazy. I definitely could not have taken the medic, because like how did those things relate? They didn't. Anyways, I hope you guys have a happy holidays. Let me know if there are things, like I always say, if there are things you're struggling with, if there's things that you're like working on, whatever it may be, that you feel like, no, RAENA, actually you're completely wrong. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to me in my entire life, and like you just don't get it. I love different perspectives, because it always allows me to like change my thought process on things and just like work through things differently. So if you have a different take or stance, I want to know. And I just hope you guys have a good end of the year, and that you're excited for whatever 2025 is going to bring. And I know I just feel good things, good vibes, and yeah. All right, I'll see you in the, I don't even know, because I probably will post. I don't know when this is going up. I'll see you soon. And if I don't, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I hope you have a great time with your family or yourself or your friends, wherever you are in the world. Okay, period. Okay, bye guys.